Thank you, Tanmay, and distinguished chairperson and panelists on this session, ladies and gentlemen. I must thank the organizers of the National Conference on Green Design for inviting me to speak on this session. The session is Green Buildings Making Financial Sense, a very important topic, as Tanmay has already said in his introductory remarks. What I will be specifically talking about is financing energy-efficient housing from the perspective of the National Housing Bank and all the other players in this program that we have. And but you'll hear a little bit of an introduction on what green buildings are and what energy efficient buildings are. And thereafter, I'll talk in the 12 or 15 minutes given to me. The remainder will be on the NHB programs and the NHB's initiatives in energy efficient housing. So, well, the background we all know is rising urbanization, rapid urbanization. The figures are very stark, a bit forbidding. Opportunities galore, but threats, more threats. By 2050, the population will reach 9 billion. World's population, 70% will live in urban areas. It's 50% now. 40.8% of India's population will be living in urban areas. It'll increase to 50% by 2041. So people will be saying then that India lives not in its villages, but in its cities. And there'll be a lot of migration to the urban areas, causing problems of shelter. People will come to cities, and there will be huge, as it is, huge housing shortages. There could be, if we don't act now, there could be greater housing shortages, greater impact on the environment, a greater impact on ordinary, comfortable, healthy day-to-day living. Now, as we all know, energy-efficient housing balances all aspects of energy used in a building. There's lighting, there's space utilization, there's ventilation, there's building materials. Oh, sorry, this is... How do I go back? Yeah, okay. Use of energy-efficient equipment and alternative and renewable sources of energy. Basically, this covers, the active and passive measures of energy saving. Active measures will include appliances, energy-efficient appliances, and sophisticated control systems. And passive measures would include design and construction features, mainly insulation, heat recovery, etc. Now, green buildings, well, they are, I'll give the definition of the MNRE of a green building. It uses optimum amount of energy. A green building uses optimum amount of energy, consumes less water, then conserves natural resources, creates spaces for healthy and comfortable living. Well, assuming that a building is on budget and the payback calculations show that for a 1.8% increase in the overall design and construction, that will yield a 20% saving in costs over the lifetime of the building. So it's about 10 times the benefits over the lifetime of the building. Now, what I'm showing here is obviously what are the benefits in the long run, and this is something that has to be captured and probably publicized, first of all realized, and then captured and publicized. Now, capital cost savings, they will arise when there is, for example, there's reduced costs in the design and in heating and ventilation and cooling systems. This is to the developers. Space saving, There will be less bulky ducting, leading to space savings in space. Operational costs with lower energy bills. A reduced construction time schedule. This occurs because there would be a more integrated or a more teamwork approach to the project. And then the improved marketability and enhanced value. You see, it would be associated with building the corporate image. It's a kind of a new brand image given to the corporate and showing or so kind of displaying to the world that it is an environment-friendly organization, and the higher future value of the property, which would also arise due to lower maintenance costs. For the landlords, it could lead to higher rentals because of better environment, higher occupancy therefore, and higher values again because of reduction in maintenance costs. To occupants, the benefits are low energy waste disposal and water costs, operational and maintenance costs will get reduced, emissions and environment costs also are lower, leading to productivity. This is all, again, in the long run, better health and satisfaction and demonstration of commitment to sustainability and environmental stewardship. This applies as much to the occupants and the end users as much as it does to the developer who is developing the property. Now, the government is also very seized of the importance of this, and the National Urban Housing and Habitat Policy of 2007, it laid down appropriate ecological standards for healthy environment and better quality of life, and the concepts of green and intelligent buildings were talked about. And there was a need to bring India on par with international standards as far as energy efficiency and in housing is concerned. Now, there's a recognition that the financial sector has a very important role to play in integrating considerations of climate change and the concerns of climate change and sustainable development into the lending operations and to the operations of the financial sector. With these few words, I'd just like to go on to what the NHB does and what the NHB is doing in this area. It's a statutory body set up under the NHB Act 1987, wholly owned by the Reserve Bank of India. It's a regulator of housing. It has a threefold role, basically, as a regulator and supervisor of housing finance companies. It provides refinance to lending institutions like banks and housing finance companies and cooperative banks and cooperatives for their on lending for individual housing loans. And also, most important is the realization that it has over the years, it has this the vision or a mission to develop the sector in whatever way it would be possible to see that all the objectives, the national objectives or international objectives of whether it's affordable housing or energy efficient housing, that these are all met. So the focus nowadays in the NHB is more on its developmental role and how the other roles, while not getting subsumed under this, can definitely contribute to the developmental role that the NHB is expected to play and which is the mandate of the NHB. So our refinance operations, as I mentioned, it's all term lending. We have direct finance windows also. We participate in the equity of certain HFCs which are working in the rural area. So this is all our part of our mission and our mandate. And so we have used this, our refinance, the function to also help in the developmental role that we have. This was done through the use of the energy efficient, the program that we have with the KfW, which is the Development Bank of Germany. as a result of the Indo-German government-to-government negotiations between the DEA and the federal government of Germany to promote the energy-efficient residential housing program, the first of its kind in India. The line of credit was about 50 million, and which was sanctioned on the 31st of December 2010. This has a financial assistance component as well as a technical assistance component. Now, the financial assistance component is where our refinance role comes and converges with our developmental role, where housing loans are given to individual borrowers. Now, what the NHB does here is we refinance those housing finance institutions, whether they are housing finance companies or whether they are banks, for their on-lending to individuals who have bought houses or flats. Actually, now it's confined to flats and apartments in projects which are certified as energy efficient. Now, the Fraunhofer-Terry assessment tool is used to calculate this level of energy savings. Energy efficiency is calculated by the amount of energy savings, which is around 30% right now, over certain parameters. And this tool is prepared by the Terry together with the Fraunhofer Institute of Germany, and this is used for the certification purposes. So initially, this was, we got a facilitator to help us in identifying such projects, then assessing, identifying the projects as well as the institutions, and assessing the potential and getting the information on borrowers, those home buyers who had taken assistance from banks or from housing finance companies. Until date, NHB has submitted claims for 26.73 million to KfWs. 8 projects have been certified in the cities. These are the cities spread across the country: Lucknow, NCR, Nagpur, etc. 1,222 individual loans have been refinanced. These are the housing finance companies and the banks who have availed of refinance. And we have appointed a TA consultant to help us in taking the step forward in the program implementation. This is a snapshot of some of the certificates. There are various parameters here on the building envelope, so regarding heating, ventilation, cooling, etc. So this is the certificate which is given to the builder, certifying that it is eligible for the refinance assistance. Well, the benefits are that there is naturally there's awareness that there are sources of funds which are available for these kind of projects for sustainable housing. And there is also, very importantly, an assessment tool which also comes along with the program. The barriers which we faced over our experience in running this program is that there is the usual lack of problem, which I think is the single biggest hurdle which anybody would face in this area, whether it's housing or anything else, is environmental concerns are usually not perceived as anybody's problem. This is something which people don't really care too much about, given the lack of awareness. Then the perception that it is more expensive, there will be more upfront costs, or there is also a wariness that developers are using this as a marketing ploy, and also the common perception is that operational costs and maintenance costs are very high. What is needed right now is that this is, first of all, let me reiterate that this is a beginning. We have started doing this only in 2010. We want to bring it forward. We want more and more builders to come into the ambit. We want more and more housing finance companies and banks to lend to individuals and to come to us for refinance. It's just that, what is needed now is this needs to be scaled up. And for that, we have, we have engaged also the technical assistants, the technical consultants to help us in bringing this program a little more, giving more publicity to it and bringing it a little bit more down to the ground level where people begin to really realize the benefits of this program. So scalability is an issue. Now, again, we all realize that energy efficiency, only when it's cost effective and it's perceived to be cost effective, can be really effective. And there are also, NHP is also, the technology promotion department of the NHP is looking at having some kind of synergies with institutes who are working on traditional building materials and seeing how these can be, incorporated in the program to follow, where we want a convergence actually between energy efficiency and affordability. Our mandate is to see that the housing shortage or the demand and supply gap in the cities as well as the rural areas is met through affordable housing initiatives, that this should also include a green component. So there should be a convergence and kind of synergy in this. Again, we are talking to various partners on this, not only in the area of getting some line of credit on this, but also in promoting materials, building materials which are traditional, which can prove to be low cost because they are locally available materials and which can be used for energy efficiency. So awareness building measures are, of course, extremely important. What I'd also like to mention is that the NHP has also come out with the refinance scheme for installation of solar water heating and solar lighting equipments in houses. This is something which is starting first in the rural areas, and we have just recently launched an initiative as part of our energy efficient schemes. So this is, to summarize, it's a priority area for government and policymakers, including the NHP. The NHP KFW partnership is something which is quite new and which has made a beginning in this area. So finance is, of course, a very important tool, but this needs to be scaled up, more needs to be done, and a multi-pronged approach is needed to overcome the barriers which I had mentioned in my presentation. Thank you very much for giving me a patient hearing.